Hey YouTube, me again. So it's 9 o'clock at night, and I had kind of an interesting day. So I decided I was going to make a YouTube series about pet peeves. I asked you guys on Facebook what your pet peeves were. I got a huge response that I wasn't expecting. So thank you everyone for contributing your ideas. And in fact, I got so many that I'm going to need multiple videos to keep track of all of the pet peeves. So it seems like a lot of people have a lot of pet peeves, which makes me feel better about myself because I have a lot of pet peeves too. Anyway, moving right along, I decided to kind of go with the things that a lot of people were saying that they had a pet peeve about, along with maybe things that I have a pet peeve about that maybe not as many people said. Anyway, enough of an introduction, moving on. I noticed that one of the biggest pet peeves, and I have it too, is spelling and grammar errors. And this is particularly inexcusable because your computer has a spell check. I mean, you know, granted, most of the time if you use the wrong form of your or their, for example, it won't notice it. But a lot of the time it will, and if I see that little red line underneath a word, drives me nuts. I mean, it's like my OCD is like, get rid of it, get rid of it. Yeah, so this was a big one, the difference between your and their, so I've decided to draw a diagram for you with the only thing I could find, a blue highlighter. Anyway, so let's just get this straight right now. Your. This one, Y-O-U-R, is possessive. That means this is your notebook. Well, it's not your notebook, it's my notebook. But if this were your notebook, that is how you would write that it was your notebook. This, apostrophe R-E, is a conjugation of U-R. Well, it's a joining of U-R. This means you own something. This means you are something, and this should never exist at all. Period. You are is 2 letters, not a word. Not 2 words, 2 letters. Okay, moving right along to the theirs. Their. This one refers to possession from multiple people. It is their party. It is their pencil, I don't know, whatever. You know, multiple people own a thing. That is how you say it. This is referring to location. I will meet you over there. This is a combination of they are. They're so wasted, it's hilarious. They're so bad at grammar, it's annoying. Get the general picture? So I really don't think, you know, this is like basic elementary school, high school grammar. I really don't think people should be getting that wrong by now. And I use some chat speak as a joke, but I think internet shorthand is kind of, I don't know, just reading it rots my brain. I feel like I'm losing brain cells as I'm reading that stuff. I'll use the occasional LOL, usually with a Z on the end to show I'm, you know, joking. I'm not actually laughing out loud. But it's, you know, it just doesn't make any sense to use it in a serious conversation. If you're having an in-depth conversation about something, this kind of shit immediately makes me take you less seriously. So, you know, use your words, my friends. Anyway, so that was the major pet peeve that was the most popular among the peanut gallery. The second most popular pet peeves usually had to do with driving and parking. People who don't know how to drive, people who, you know, pass on a double yellow line, which I thought that was generally not an accepted thing to do considering you could kill someone. My biggest pet peeve when it comes to driving is when you're waiting in like a yield kind of situation where you're waiting to go on a traffic circle or something, or, you know, waiting to make a turn onto a highway, for example. You have to make a right turn onto a highway, and it says yield. Granted, that does not mean stop, But obviously, if there is a huge flow of traffic coming because the light hasn't changed, I'm not going to move because there's no point. I'm just going to drive down that little teeny tiny merge lane and stop because I can't go anywhere. So what I hate is when I'm in that kind of situation and the person behind me starts honking like a motherfucker. I mean, this guy's laying on the horn, he's getting pissed off, and that just stresses me out because there's nothing I can do. There is nowhere to go. I don't know what you want me to do. And then, of course, you know, that puts stress on me, and it ends up making me make poor decisions. And yeah, if you do that, you're a dick. When you are in a traffic situation, you have to remind yourself that you are currently piloting a multi-ton pile of metal that could potentially and has before killed someone. So just keep that in mind when you're driving. Just don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Anyway, that was the second most common pet peeve. I don't even really know that I would call that a pet peeve. That's too reasonable to be a pet peeve. But one of my biggest pet peeves that I haven't really heard from anyone else, so if you have this pet peeve too, please make me feel better about myself. I hate it when people tell me it could always be worse. It just gets on my nerves because we all go through our own personal version of hell every once in a while, and it may not be the worst thing to ever happen in the entire world ever, but maybe it's the worst thing to happen in our day or in our week or in the last couple of years. You know, I'm going through a deployment currently, and I'm facing the frustrations of constantly changing homecoming dates and all of that stuff. And when people tell me it could always be worse, you could be, etc., etc., I kind of block the rest of it out. It's like, yeah, okay, I get that. It could be worse, but this is bad for me. And, you know, sure, of course, things could always be worse. You could always be that starving little swollen-bellied kid in Uganda or something. But, you know, like I said, we all go through our own personal version of hell on earth every once in a while, and we should be permitted to rant or vent to people we trust without being patronized. I mean, of course, you know, I know things could be worse. You don't have to tell me that. Things are just bad for me right now. And I'm going through the personal hell that we all go through, and I'm just looking for a little bit of sympathy. I mean, or, you know, empathy, even. But some sympathy would be great. You know, everyone's had a bad day once in a while. It doesn't mean that I'm saying, oh, woe is me, my life is the worst life in the world. It means that I'm having a bad day and I could use some cheering up. Yeah, that's just about it. Really. So let me know if you guys share that pet peeve along with me, because it makes me feel really awkward when people say that, because I get so, like, tense about it. It's kind of weird. I'm just like, grr, you know, it gets my blood boiling when people say it could always be worse. You know, yeah, of course it could be worse, but this is bad for me. So it is worse. But it's worse for me. It might not be worse for someone else, but it's worse for me. Anyway, rant over. Those are the first 3 most popular pet peeves that I've gotten from people that I also share. Now it's your turn. Do you share any of these pet peeves? Here is your chance to rant. I am an ear to listen, an eye to read. Leave a video response or a comment in the box below talking about your pet peeves. They could end up on the next installment of Helen's Pet Peeves. So, for now, I'm going to go zone out on the internet a little longer because I was going to do productive things tonight, but it looks like it's just not going to happen. So, please, please, please subscribe if you enjoy my channel, share it with the world, and I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Ciao!